It's 1937, airships drift over cities like silver whales, the Golden Gate Bridge opens its arms across the bay, and the first snow of winter dusts a quiet, hopeful world. Welcome, dear dreamer. I'm Toro, and tonight, we drift softly back to the year 1937. A year suspended between two worlds, the quiet hum of old traditions and the steady heartbeat of modern times. The air carries the scent of progress and uncertainty, of radio songs mingling with the rustle of newspapers that whisper headlines of wonder and worry alike. Imagine the sound of footsteps on cobblestone streets, the warm light of an evening lamp spilling across an open book, the faint melody of a swing tune drifting through an open window. The world is learning to move faster, yet in its corners, people still pause to listen, to the radio, to the wind, to each other. 1937 is a year of great bridges and brave beginnings, of artists who dream and inventors who dare. Yet it is also a year of quiet breakfasts, handwritten letters, and the small comforts that never seem to change. So settle in. Let your breathing slow. Let us travel gently into the year 1937 and listen to what the world was dreaming then. World events. The year opens with a sense of motion, engines, diplomacy, and the murmur of nations trying to find their balance. In America, the Great Depression still lingers, but the nation begins to stir again. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal projects hum with life, bridges, roads, and parks being built by calloused hands beneath broad skies. On May 27, a marvel of human ambition and grace opens to the world, the Golden Gate Bridge. Painted in international orange, it stretches like a ribbon of light across San Francisco Bay. People gather in coats and hats to watch, their eyes full of pride and possibility. Across the ocean, Europe feels both busy and uneasy. In Spain, the civil war rages on, though we will not linger in its pain, only acknowledge the courage and endurance of those who lived through its nights. In Britain, a young princess named Elizabeth attends public events with her family, still unaware that destiny is slowly shaping her future crown. Far to the east, in China, the world trembles as conflict grows. The Second Sino-Japanese War begins after the Marco Polo Bridge incident. And though far away, its echoes reach newspapers across the globe. Meanwhile, in Germany, grand spectacles fill the air, parades and speeches, symbols and songs. Yet beneath the surface, the rhythm of history beats with a heavier hand. The world does not yet know what will come, but the clouds of change are gathering at the horizon. In the far reaches of the Arctic, another story unfolds. Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen, who once conquered the South Pole, is lost while searching for a missing airship. His disappearance feels like the vanishing of an era of daring explorers. And in the skies, new dreams rise, though sometimes too high. In May, the Hindenburg, a vast airship shimmering with hydrogen, descends over Lakehurst, New Jersey. For a moment, the world holds its breath. The era of airships, elegant and impossible, fades quietly into history. Through all these events, the pulse of humanity continues, steady, tender, and enduring. One story that shaped 1937. If there is one story that defined 1937, it may be the rise of a bridge, a symbol of hope and of human ingenuity, the Golden Gate Bridge. Picture it, the early morning fog rolling like soft blankets over the bay. workers standing high above the water, suspended between ocean and sky. For 4 years, they built and painted, welded and dreamed. And now, it is done, a gate between worlds, between the old and the new. When it opens to the public, people walk across it in wonder. Families push baby carriages, couples hold hands, men tip their hats against the cold wind. They say it feels like walking through the clouds. That bridge, born in a time of hardship, becomes a symbol of what people can do when they believe in tomorrow. Its orange towers gleam in the sunlight, quiet guardians over the bay, whispering promises of connection, courage, and endurance. And somewhere, beneath those arches, the Pacific tide moves softly, as it always has, carrying the dreams of 1937 out to sea. Daily life around the world. Life in 1937 feels slower, gentler, yet full of invention. In cities, people wear tailored coats, hats tilted at perfect angles, and gloves for every season. Women's skirts sway mid-calf, men polish their shoes for evening walks. In small towns, the air smells of coal smoke and rain. Children play with wooden toys, roll hoops down the street, or sit cross-legged before the radio, listening to adventure stories of cowboys, detectives, and distant lands. In America, a loaf of bread costs about 9 cents. A movie ticket, just 25. Many homes now have electric refrigerators, though the gentle clatter of the icebox is still familiar in rural kitchens. Housewives hum swing tunes as they hang laundry, while fathers read the evening paper beside the glow of the lamp. In Britain, tea is still the heartbeat of the day. Newspapers like the Times and the Daily Express fill breakfast tables, and young couples stroll through parks wrapped in wool scarves. Across Europe, bicycles are everywhere, clattering along cobblestones, weaving between trams and laughter. Meanwhile, in Japan, the art of modern life meets deep tradition. In Tokyo, neon lights glimmer beside paper lanterns. Western suits mix with kimonos on busy streets. In India, the movement for independence gathers quiet strength, with peaceful marches and whispered dreams of freedom. And as night falls, across all continents, radios glow in the dark like fireflies, broadcasting news, music, and the comforting crackle of human voices. Science, inventions, and technology. The year 1937 hums with innovation. In the laboratories of Cambridge, scientists like Ernest Rutherford continue to explore the invisible world of atoms, uncovering mysteries that will one day power both light and knowledge. Across the Atlantic, engineers are building sleeker airplanes, metal birds that promise to shrink the distance between continents. At Disney Studios, the world witnesses a new kind of magic. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first full-length animated feature film, debuts in December. Audiences gasp, laugh, and cry, realizing that art and technology can dance together in color and sound. Elsewhere, inventors refine cameras, radios, and early television sets. The world grows smaller, voices travel farther, and imagination begins to move through wires and waves. In hospitals, medical discoveries bring hope. Sulfur drugs, among the first antibiotics, save countless lives. The dream of conquering disease seems, at last, within reach. And so, 1937 becomes a bridge between worlds, between the horse-drawn and the motorized, between candlelight and electric glow, between dream and discovery. Culture and the arts. The arts of 1937 shimmer like candlelight through the fog. In literature, J.R. Tolkien publishes The Hobbit, a tale of adventure, courage, and unexpected friendship. Readers across the world fall quietly under its spell. Meanwhile, Ernest Hemingway writes To Have and Have Not, and John Steinbeck releases Of Mice and Men, stories that capture both hardship and the human heart. On the radio, swing and jazz fill the air, Benny Goodman's clarinet, Ella Fitzgerald's velvet voice, and the steady rhythm of Duke Ellington's orchestra. In living rooms, couples dance softly, their shadows swaying across wallpapered walls. In cinemas, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers glide effortlessly across screens in Shall We Dance? Shirley Temple, with her bright curls and dimples, brings laughter to children in Heidi. Art itself is changing, too. Surrealists like Salvador Dali paint dreamscapes of melting clocks and strange beauty. Meanwhile, in Paris, artists gather in cafes to debate the future of form and color. Sports bring joy, too. Joe Louis reigns as heavyweight boxing champion, his victories echoing pride and resilience. And in baseball, Joe DiMaggio begins his legendary rise with the New York Yankees. Everywhere, creativity becomes a lantern, lighting the long corridors of a complicated world. Media and headlines. In 1937, the world still learns its news from the paper and the radio. Morning headlines rustle across kitchen tables, King George VI crowned in Westminster Abbey, Amelia Earhart vanishes over the Pacific, new animated film delights audiences. People listen, not with panic, but with quiet wonder, imagining distant places through the voice of the announcer. A gallon of gas costs about 10 cents. A new car? Around $760. The average home sells for just under $4,000. And yet, the value of a good story, or a moment of laughter, remains the same as ever. Magazines like Life and the Saturday Evening Post paint the world in glossy color. On the cover, smiling faces, daring explorers, and stories of hope. Each week, readers escape into pages of adventure, invention, and domestic warmth. And as the printing presses slow, the world prepares for another sunrise. People born and people died this year. 1937 welcomes a new generation of dreamers. Among those born this year are Morgan Freeman, whose calm voice will one day narrate worlds, Anthony Hopkins, whose gaze will capture centuries, and Jane Fonda, who will bring strength and spirit to countless roles. In the world of music, Philip Glass is born, a composer who will one day turn repetition into beauty. And in quiet farewells, we lose brilliant souls. George Gershwin, whose melodies once sparkled through jazz and Broadway alike, dies at just 38. His music, however, continues to hum through radios and hearts long after. The world, as always, keeps turning, births and farewells woven together like verses in the same lullaby. As 1937 draws to a close, the world exhales softly. In cities and towns, lights twinkle in shop windows, and the smell of pine and winter fills the air. The hum of the decade grows steadier, a rhythm of invention and apprehension, of courage and care. Families gather around the radio for Christmas broadcasts, listening to carols and stories. Children fall asleep dreaming of trains and tin soldiers, of magic and music. Outside, the snow hushes the streets. Somewhere, a writer pens a final page for the year, a scientist tightens the last bolt of an experiment, a mother hums a lullaby. The bridge between 1937 and 1938 is built not of steel or stone, but of hope, patience, and dreams for gentler tomorrows. And though no one yet knows what lies ahead, for now, the world rests, its heart beating softly beneath the stars. Thank you, dear listener, for wandering with me through the quiet wonders of 1937. If this journey soothed your evening, let your next breath linger like the closing note of a song. I'm Toro, And this has been The World in 1937, part of Toro's History Lullabies, where history drifts softly into dreams. Until next time, may your rest be calm, your dreams be kind, and your tomorrow gentle.